it's Amy from Nail Polish Baby 90 and welcome to today's video. Today I am here with a swatch and review of the Glam Polish Magical Spells 9-piece collection. This was originally released on Black Friday and also part of their, I think it was 7-year anniversary. So it is a collection based off of these spells that we see in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, which obviously is right up my street. I'm obviously a big fan of Glam Polish too, so the both of those together made me need these. Now, originally when they released, they have now all sold out. However, Glam Polish is currently on a little bit of a hiatus and they're not re-releasing any new products at the moment. They're just kind of selling through what they have. Whenever they come back, this is going to be one of the first collections that comes back. So hopefully if you see this video and you didn't get a chance to pick them up at Black Friday, whenever the shop reopens properly, you can grab them. So hopefully I'm not teasing you too much. If you haven't seen any of my other Harry Potter chit chat videos, what we do is we kind of talk about Harry Potter a bit, talk about the polish, talk about how the formula works and things like that. I will link the playlist down below for the other Harry Potter videos if you're interested, but let's get going on these collections. I'm going to divide the collection in half into a 4 and a 3. Let me just say before we get any further that this collection had you could do whatever you wanted with as a creator, because the magical spells, there's nothing in our minds really with any of them other than maybe 1 or 2 where you have a colour in mind. So they had the artistic licensing to kind of go wherever they felt they wanted to. So my opinions are just going to be subjective of whether I think that it matches the spell very well. I feel that all 9 of them are super magical looking polishes, which might be cliche, but I just think that they look like something that would come from the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and for that reason most of these, nearly all of them, I think are really great mixes and match the spells really well. So as I said, we're going to get going, and first ones we're going to look at is the more lighter pastel range of them, and the first one is the one that I'm wearing today, and this one is called Stupefy, and it is this beautiful lilac base with a ton of red shimmer and also multi-chrome flakies in here. So hopefully you can see the flash there of the shimmer, and then there's also these flakies in there. They just all look like they are magical potions and spells, something magical and mystical. I really like them, and I think it would have been really easy for for Glam to have gone with a all darker coloured polish range, but I think the introduction of the lighter colours for some of these spells is good. For me, Stupefy, I know what else I was going to do. Let me get that ready. I'm going to read you out from the Harry Potter Wikipedia page what the definition of the spell is. I think that might help everybody. So the first one, like I said, we have is Stupefy, and this is known as the stunning or stupefying spell. It's a charm that is used to render a target unconscious or semi-conscious, as well as halting moving objects. I think this is great. I like the fact that it's lighter, and quite a lot of them, like I say, it would have been easy for them to be dark colours. I really like the flash. I think that kind of shows that the pow of the spell. I think that's a really great option. This did get completely opaque in 3 coats, where it did have those flakies and it's a lighter colour. It just took that 3rd coat to build up to be completely opaque and what you see today. I'm not a huge fan of all purples, but I will say that I did really like this one on my skin tone. So all good things from the first one, which is Stupefy, and that was 3 coats. Then we have Expelliarmus, which is this beautiful cornflower blue base with a ton of, again, the multi-chrome flakies and that kind of orangey pinky flash to it, like with Stupefy. These kind of go together in the spells as well, because the Expelliarmus is the disarming spell, a defensive charm which forces the victim to release whatever they are holding at the time, a common spell used in duels. So they kind of are a little bit of a match, because most of these I guess you would use during duels, but these two to me kind of went together very well. They complemented each other really nicely, and like I say, that is the 2 of them together. Expelliarmus was a little bit more opaque. It did get completely opaque for me in 2, and all of these retained that strong shimmer and the flakies were really apparent. So this one was Expelliarmus and it was opaque in 2. We then have Riddikulus, and I think this one is one of the ones that people have a very vivid thought of when they think of this, because it's quite a big scene in the film where we see Harry learning how to get rid of the boggarts and using the Riddikulus spell, and obviously we have it where everybody's thinking of different things, how to make their fears into something funny and to say they are ridiculous. So I think that was this is why it's quite a big spell in the Harry Potter world, not because it does anything attacking really. It's more of a defensive spell again. So this is a grey base with that strong, super strong pinky red flash to it, as well as a little bit of multichrome in there as well. So the definition of this is obviously the Boggart Banishing spell. It causes the creature to assume a form that is humorous to the caster, along with a whip crack noise, therefore counteracting the Boggart's ability to terrorise and scare. And I think this is good. Greys aren't my favourite, and greys with the red flash, I don't know, it wouldn't have been one that I would have picked out, but because I was getting all of them, I thought I would get all of them. But if there was going to be one that I wouldn't get, in hindsight it would be this one, just because I'm not a fan of greys, not for any other reason. So this one also took 3 coats where it was a little bit sheer, but you really do benefit from that sheerness to allow you to build up and see the flash and shimmer to it really obviously by the time it's opaque in 3. So that third one there was Riddikulus, opaque in 3. We then have Alohomora, and this is one of the ones for me which I felt like Alohomora, when I thought of it, would be a green, and I don't know why. This one is a beautiful mint, almost matches my shirt there, and it also again has this beautiful pink flash to it, and it has have flakies in there but not as many. This is more the green base with the flash of teal. This also took 3 coats to be completely opaque, where it was a lighter one. Out of the 3 lighter ones, Expelliarmus in the blue was the most opaque. Alohomora is another one that is featured quite heavily in the films, and I think most people's knowledge of Harry Potter comes from the films, and I think most of my references come from what was in the film and what wasn't in the film. So I really need to go back and read the books, because it's probably been about 2 or 3 years since I've read them, but I have a lot of things in my mind that I'm like, that wasn't in the film enough, or this was in the film. So that's kind of how I reference the films, but I know some people like the films and not the books, so whatever your pleasure, as long as you enjoy Harry Potter, that's fine with me. So obviously Alohomora is an unlocking charm, also known apparently as the Thief's Friend. It's a charm that unlocks doors and windows that are not protected by magic. So yeah, that is what that means, and like I say, I always thought that Alohomora would be green, and I don't know why. So that was 3 coats of Alohomora. We then have the darker ones, but with this red one in the middle. So we're going to talk about this red one first. This is Wingardium Leviosa, and another one kind of with Alohomora and Riddikulus. We do see this in the films a lot, and it's one of the first charms that Harry Potter is taught when he arrives at Hogwarts. So it's quite a famous scene in the book and in the films, because it's the first kind of play that he has with real magic. And really simply, it is the charm of levitation. It has Leviosa in it, which kind of explains that it's going to be something levitating to me. And this is a beautiful bright red, and it has an even stronger red flash to it, and there is kind of like this, it's more like a yellowy green, like multi-chrome flaky to it. So it's mainly red with red, but then there's also that yellowy green undertone tinge to it. I think Glam Polish does these polishes so well, where they throw so much into them and they're so complex, but they just look beautiful and stunning, and they don't look overworked at all. So all of the last ones that I'm going to show you, for me, they got completely opaque in 2 in person, but when I put them under the bright lights in my light box to take a swatch, I felt that they needed a 3rd coat. So take that kind of for what you will, but if for everyday wearing, I would say all of these were opaque in 2, but if you were taking swatches of them, don't be surprised that they need 3, or if you apply 2 thin coats, you will need a 3rd, but I tend to go on the thicker side when I'm slapping on coats of nail polish. So that one there was Wingardium Leviosa, and that was 2 coats. Okay, so these last ones here all look kind of similar in the bottles, and I think the bottle shots really don't show these justice. So if you see the bottle shots of these and you think they like all look the same, or they just look a bit flat, then just ignore them, and you need to see them on swatches on nails. So as you can see, these all have a very strong, again, pinky red shimmer flash to them, like with the rest of them. Some of them it's more pink and some of them it's more red, but that is all there. They all have a slight multi-chrome element to them, and there's not really any flaky. So it's basically the flash and the multi-chrome, but these are all in 4 different base colours. But in the bottles they kind of look the same, but on the nails they're very, very different base coats and colours. So the first one that we have is Expecto Patronum, and Expecto Patronum is that mixture that I've just described, but in a really nice forest green base. I have seen Expecto Patronum done a few times in the polish world, and normally if it's not a kind of like the actual like charm, like the animal, like silvery colour, it is always a green, and I don't know where that's come from. So I was very not surprised. It was kind of an obvious, but in a good way, that if it wasn't going to be silver, it was going to be green, because I'm so used to green with Expecto Patronum. And this there's two out of the four. This is like one of my favourites. I loved just the deep forest green nature to it with the other things that I've just described thrown in there. I thought it complemented very nicely, and again it just looks super magical. Expecto Patronum obviously is the Patronus charm, and it's one of the most famous and most powerful defensive charms known in wizard kind. It's immensely complicated and extremely difficult that evokes a partially tangible positive energy force known as Patronus. This website is very good. Well done, Harry Potter Wikipedia. This is what I'm talking about. So again, like with the other ones that I've just mentioned, 2 or 3 depending on your application. That one was Expecto Patronum. Then we go on to Lumos Maxima, and this is in like an indigo base, a little bit blue, a little bit purple, with everything that I've previously described thrown in. So I thought this one was really nice because I wouldn't have specifically thought of Lumos Maxima being in a blue base, because Lumos is obviously the incantation to a charm that can be used to produce a blinding flash of bright white light from the tip of the wand. So you possibly would have thought of something more silvery or white or gold, something that's more like a light colour. Do you know what I mean? Like the colour of a light bulb, that's what I'm saying. I feel like I'm kind of going delusional by this point. So, like I say, this is not the colour that I would have suspected, but I love this one. This one and Expecto Patronum were my favourite 2 out of the darker ones. I absolutely loved the mixture of the blue, purple and the shimmer and the flashes and the multi-chrome. I love that all together. So 2 coats of Lumos Maxima. Okay, on to the last 2. We then have Incendio, and Incendio is again all of that stuff that I've just described but in a red base. It is different to Wingardium Leviosa. Wingardium Leviosa is bright red, obviously with that red flash, whereas this is more a pinky flash, and it also has the multi-chrome in it as well. So it is different, but they are similar. Let me hold them up. This is Wingardium Leviosa and this is Incendio. So hopefully you can see that there is a difference there, but out of the whole collection, these 2 look the most similar, specifically in the bottles. Incendio probably isn't one of the most well-known spells out of all the ones that we've spoken about today, but Harry Potter Wikipedia says this is a fire-making spell, a charm and a form of conjuration that can be used to conjure a jet of orange and red flame, thereby setting things alight. So this actually references that the spell and the flame is red. So that goes very well because this is red. Not one of my favourites of the collection if I'm being super picky, because I don't tend to wear red nails that much. But it gets completely opaque in 2, and it kind of gives you this magical air like with the others. So 2 coats of Incendio. I feel like I've been really tongue-tied in this video, so I do apologise for that. The last one that we have is Impedimenta, and this is bringing up the collection. This is in more of a pinky purple, dark, like fuchsia-y pinky purple base with all of the shimmer and everything that we've previously described thrown in. This, like Incendio, I've kind of left them to the end, not on purpose. Is another one that is possibly not known as much to people that are not deeply into Harry Potter, but the website here is telling me that this is an impediment hex. It's a jink that slows down the target and is commonly used in duelling. So again, more of a dueling spell rather than an everyday spell. This is really nice. I do like the fact that it is the purpley pink base in there with the shimmers and everything, and it is very magical. Again, not really that much into reds and dark pinks, so not going to be my favourites from the collection, but still beautiful and stunning. So 2 coats of Impedimenta. So that is the 9-piece collection for magical spells. I'm sorry if I butchered through any pronunciations through that. I'm really trying my best with things, and sometimes I think how I'm used to saying things is not the correct way, but I'm just so in the habit of that's how we're going to go. Out of the 9, I'm going to pick 4 as my favourites. I'm going to pick 2 of the light ones, which are going to be Alohomora and Expelliarmus, and then 2 of the dark ones is Expecto Patronum and Lumos Maxima. The whole collection is so good, as in they're, like I say, magical, completely unique and different mixes that we're not used to seeing before. Formulas are great, everything is really good. It's just my subjective opinion that the blue, I actually picked the light blues and the dark blue, and the light greens and the dark greens. They are obviously my favourites that I'm drawn towards, and I can't help that, but I'm sure there's something in there for everybody, especially people that love Harry Potter. So how you can find out when this collection is going to be coming back, it's obviously follow Glam Polish. They have Facebook pages, they have Instagrams, and I would say just keep an eye on those, and hopefully in the near future, she did say in the spring is when these were going to be re-released and re-promoted, so you can hopefully grab the ones that you missed out on, or the ones that you just didn't even know this was happening. So give me a big thumbs up, subscribe, let me know which ones were your favourites down below, and I'll be back with a different Harry Potter chit chat video very soon. Thanks.